to this webinar, and we have various speakers, and my role today is simply to just act as a moderator. But of course, I firstly extend welcome to those of you who are on the call and have expressed that interest in learning more about the SIPS program and the benefits that it can bring to you, and of course, by extension, the country of Guyana also. And, as part of the Caribbean, of course, you look at regional development. So that all of these are different benefits, and we are hoping that by the end of it, we are clear on what are the benefits of this program. And we have a few individuals. We have representatives from two organizations. There are two schools, ACI and SCI, and of course, we'll hear from both schools. And also we have a representative from SIPS, Ms. Mandy Wong, and we also have a student representative who will give a little testimony as to what the program would have done for them in terms of the developmental aspect. And we do have two of our faculties who will be sharing some information with us. So that, firstly, as I would have said, welcome, and I would have shared with you what is really the purpose and our agenda as we go through it, because there may be some changes. I will share that with you. So that firstly, the open, I will just ask the representative from ECI. We have Dr. Vishnu here, we have Divya, to just share some information, a few words with us as we start our program.
Thank you very much, Jairat, and good afternoon to everyone joining the webinar and to everyone who is in the, the Zoom event itself. On behalf of ACI, I would like to thank you for your attention here today. I know that everyone is very much aware of all the developments taking place in Guyana. We have a new industry that is rapidly developing and for which many new skills are needed as well. And particularly when it comes to supply chain management, procurement, logistics, and therefore, we at ACI are very happy to be providing the support and to provide the channel as well for more of our fellow Guyanese to get trained in this specific area. So I would like to encourage you to pay keen attention to my colleagues at Stabrook Consulting, to Mandy Wong as well from SIPS, and to ask any questions as well towards the end of the presentation. And again, very exciting time in Guyana, and I would encourage you to make sure that you continue to add value to yourself and uplift your level of skills so that we as a country can also really benefit from that. Thank you very much, Jairat, for allowing me to share a couple of words.
Thank you very much, Dr. Vishnu, and I'm sure that, those of you who are in Guyana will know about the reputation and the work that his organization would have been doing. And of course, as you mentioned, there's a lot of opportunities, and that really, speaks to the name of this webinar, building a career out of SIPS, etc. So that all of this information would have been shared with you, and we are hoping that by the end of this webinar, you'll be able to have a clearer idea of what SIPS can do for you as an individual, firstly, and also not only that, but what can it do for your country and for the development of the region. We are very fortunate. This is our second student webinar, and we had Ms. Mandy Wong from the US, who's a representative from SIPS, who came on at our first webinar. This was last year, and she has graciously agreed to come on again to share some information in terms of what SIPS is about, and I think most importantly, how SIPS helps in terms of not just regional development, but I know that some persons do have ambitions to probably look at, working in the global space, so that in terms of the global reach of SIPS and what that can do for you, both locally and globally, I pass over to Ms. Mandy Wong, and let me just express our appreciation to you, Mandy, once again, for agreeing to be here and to share your insights with us. So I pass over to you.
Thank you, Jada, for thinking of me and inviting me to speak with your students. Welcome, everyone. As he mentioned, I am Mandy. I'm based in the US. Our SIPS headquarters in the Americas is based in Chicago, so that's where I am. Our global headquarters is based in Stamford, UK, which is about an hour and a half train ride outside of London. So that's where the majority of the team from SIPS are, but we do have about 10 staff members here, kind of spread out in the US. We have offices globally, so in addition to the US, in the UK, we have offices in Ghana, South Africa, Istanbul, Dubai, Singapore, and Melbourne.
And maybe to come out and then go back. But she's at the host muted.
If I can ask, if you're not speaking, if you can go on mute so that we don't disrupt the presentation, that would be fantastic. But if you have any questions throughout my presentation, feel free to add a message in the chat, and then I can get to it at the end as well. So SIPS works with both public and private sectors in organizations in raising their standards. If you're a little bit unfamiliar with SIPS, we have over 70,000 members worldwide, and we offer various levels of membership to best fit the needs of each individual. So in addition to individual study programs like you would be doing through the study center here, we also offer corporate delivery and training as well. But in terms of the individual SIPS members, we offer memberships for students who are going through the various SIPS qualification levels that we have. We have about 5 different levels on the learning journey to earn your full SIPS designation, which is the MSIPS designation, and become a full member of the SIPS organization. As we mentioned, SIPS is growing and we're worldwide, and I think one of the biggest benefits of SIPS in developing economies is that a lot of the companies that our team have interacted with who are interested in quality training and development for individuals is that they're really interested in the quality of the individuals they're bringing into their team. I think that's where a lot of the conversations that we've had with companies about the needs of their employees, future employees, is they want to make sure that the people on their team are having the quality of knowledge. And SIPS is where we come in to help provide, to meet those needs of quality of knowledge for their employees. One of the other P's that is really beneficial is that in some regions, SIPS can actually be recognized as a standalone accreditation. So in some countries, I think in South Africa, if you don't have a university degree, some companies will recognize having the MSIPS designation as a university accreditation. So you can really kind of mix and match if depending on where you are. So I think for Guyana, it would be a really, really good addition to any university accreditations that people in the supply chain and procurement industry already have. Other things that we've done globally, one thing that I know our entire SIPS team is very proud of is our annual global salary survey. Because of the global reach that we do have with members worldwide, each year we're able to conduct a procurement salary survey with data collected from all the regions we have a large presence in, so UK, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, MENA, Middle East, North Africa, North America, Sub-Saharan Africa, and Europe. For example, in our last year's salary survey guide, we found that there was a huge growth in procurement salaries overall in North America by 4.6%. And the SIPS study also showed that 32% of employers in North America requested MSIPS or studying towards it when they're recruiting new employees. versus, sub-Saharan Africa, where 79% of the employers who participated in the survey requested that their employees to be recruited have or are in process of earning their MSIPs. And that number is 66% in MENA. So it's really interesting and fascinating and really incredible that, because we do have kind of members and participants worldwide, you can kind of see how different regions are, and kind of you can do your own benchmarking to see, what you need to make sure you're updated on to make sure you are getting the job in this competitive market. And all of the data can be found on the SIPS website. So if you are interested, let me know, and I can drop the link in the chat box in a bit too. I think one of the other things that I think people are really interested and are drawn to the SIPS program is that because we are a global organization, the programs that we offer are very mobile. Our SIPS qualification, the MSIPS, is recognized worldwide. So even if you earn your MSIPs in the Americas and Western Hemisphere, it would still be recognized in other regions of the world. And I would actually say that the MSIPs is more recognized in kind of the Eastern Hemisphere, because we just started recently expanding into the Western Hemisphere, but I know in Europe and in MENA, the MSIPs is truly something that's kind of a if they see it in your email signature, they know you're a quality professional in the supply chain industry. And in other terms of mobility of the program, we do have more than 200 study centers globally, and this is one of them. And the program is self-study, so really it's perfect for if you want to learn at your own pace, on your own schedule, wherever you are. And then with the opportunities that comes with having your SIPS qualifications, again, it kind of goes back to the salary survey that we have conducted, because in many regions, having the MSIPS qualification can lead to higher salaries. So last year in our salary survey, I think it was 24% in the 24% of individuals in the UK had a higher salary because they have the MSIPS qualifications. 12% in Europe overall, 20% in New Zealand, and 34% in South Africa, 82% in MENA. So again, just tying back to how certain regions, employers do favor applicants who do hold SIPS qualifications. And some of the benefits of becoming a member, not only do you get a lot of the resources that are offered exclusively to members, I think overall being a SIPS member is just really great for having an additional support for your continuing professional development. And if you're especially newer in the industry, the networking opportunities are plenty. Also the knowledge resources that we have. So we have the supply management digital publication that is updated regularly. And then we also have the Knowledge Hub online that houses a variety of information and is a reference even for me, even though I'm not myself in the procurement industry, just references on various topics and regions that may come up during any calls you may have for conversations with other colleagues. So we have a lot of business resources, academic sources. Everything is always continually updated and refreshed by professional teams. And really, I think the procurement and supply chain content that we offer is really wide ranging, because we do have, topics and contents that are catered for our global audiences, but we also have content designed for specific regions. So one example I want to highlight is recently SIPS Americas relaunched something that we've been doing called the Global Sourcing Insights, which are kind of like podcasts, webcasts that you can find online. They're very short, about half an hour, 15 minutes, depending on the topic. And the last one we did in March was on ESG tools. So depending on what kind of content you're looking for, we're always putting out content, and we're always taking recommendations too if you're looking for more resources on a specific topic. And for me personally, one of the benefits I'm most enthusiastic about are the education and networking opportunities. We are growing really quickly in the Americas, North America, South America, and that's one of the reasons why I was recruited to the SIPS team, to help grow our membership base and develop events for our members in the Western Hemisphere. We have a lot of amazing initiatives in progress and others that are still in development stages, but since I've started and since our last student webinar that we did together in the fall, we've been holding monthly member meetings for SIPS members. We call them monthly member meetings, but actually non-SIPS members are also invited to join those conversations as well. Each month's meeting, we have a different theme to drive conversation amongst our attendees. You can ask questions, offer insights, offer recommendations on how to approach different problems relating to the theme of the meeting. So we have a really good group of individuals who repeatedly come to those meetings, and new members join those meetings all the time as well. So I encourage you to get involved or attend one of these monthly member meetings just to see what that's about, and maybe learn and contribute to a conversation that you may normally not be a part of. We're also growing different chapters in the Americas as well. So we now have a SIPS Mid-Atlantic chapter starting in the New York metropolitan area, and our chapter in the Trinidad and Tobago is now expanding to become the Caribbean chapter, so we can offer more SIPS support and resources to our SIPS members in the Caribbean. So if you're interested in getting involved in the Caribbean chapter, you can send a little chat in the box below, or you can email me directly. I'll drop it in my email and our general inbox email in the chat box later on. So that will be a resource for you guys moving forward. We also have a couple events coming up that I can pass along to Jada to share with you all. Our next event is on April 13th from 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern time, and that's our April member meeting. The Caribbean chapter has a webinar coming up on April 22nd. And then SIPS Americas is hosting a series of skill builder workshops this year. And our next one is on April 28th, and the topic is drafting contracts. The member meeting and the chapter webinar are both free, and we are offering member pricing for the skill builder workshop. So those are just a few of the events that we have going on in April. You can check the SIPS website or contact us if you have any other questions or requests for topics you would like to see. And if you have any additional questions or want to get involved with SIPS as a member, you can contact me directly at the emails I will drop down in the chat box below. That's all I have today. If you have any questions, again, feel free to drop a chat in the little box below. And thanks again for letting me talk to you all today.
Thank you very much, Mandy, for once again sharing your information. And I think the idea is to let potential students and current students also understand that the SIPS program is not only about earning a certificate. That is part of it, but it's really about being part of not just a regional or local network, but being part of a global network, and the opportunities that are available for every single one of you who are part of this program to benefit from that network. So Mandy would have shared that information, and Mandy, on behalf of both schools. We say thank you once again for sharing those insights with us, and of course, letting our potential students and current students know what are the opportunities that are available to them once they become members of the organization, members of SIPS. At this time, we want to pass over to one of our lecturers, Miss Yvette Hoyt. She lectures at the level 2, and she has some information that she'd like to share with you. And the last time we did this, I had spoken a little bit about the teaching and learning methodology. But once she does a presentation, by virtue of that, you'll be able to understand the way in which we teach. Just to say that, of course, all of our lecturers, they are selected based on criteria that are met by SIPS, that all of our lecturers has to be vetted by SIPS organization. And in addition to that, they all have teaching qualifications, and we do our own quality checks also. So at this point, I'll pass over to Ms. Yvette, who will make a presentation.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, faculty of Stabrook Consulting Inc., as well as our invited guests, and the SIPS representative, Mandy. Today, I will just do a brief presentation on the Level 2 SIPS program. So I will permit me to share screen with you. So welcome to a brief overview of the Level 2 Certificate in Procurement and Supply Operations. Now, Mandy has done a very good introduction of the overall SIPS program, but just to reinforce, why SIPS is our best way forward. SIPS is a leading global body that sets the standard for procurement and supply in the profession. Procurement and supply, according to Mandy, is a rapidly growing field globally, providing career opportunities and growth internationally. Now, considering the recent global COVID-19 pandemic, and of course, you're aware of the Russia-Ukraine war, procurement is now challenged with minimizing the risk and impact of these developments on their supply chains. Now, the effective procurement is an important strategy for every business seeking to obtain value for money, which is a term you will hear throughout the courses, cost reductions, and sustainable sources of supply. Professionals in this field are in a very high demand, and they receive competitive remuneration. Mandy also shared the results of the recent SIPS survey, and I will share a little bit more information. What are the benefits to the organization? SIPS certification is the foundation of a solid career in procurement and supply, as reiterated. The curriculum that procurement and supply chain management professionals have, the capabilities and responsibilities to deliver sustainable goals for their organizations. We know that we also want to have sustainable profits. Now, according to the recent SIPS Hayes 2021 Procurement Salary Guide, highlights a 4.6 salary growth in salaries with an average annual salary of US $96,361 for all of North America. North America including the United States, Canada, South America, and it includes the Caribbean region, including Guyana, something for everyone to look forward to. So for example, the annual salary range for an operational level procurement specialist is US $61,000. For a procurement manager in that North American survey is $118,000 US. And for the advanced professional, who can either be a procurement director and above, it's $155,000 a year. Does that sound good? Does that sound like something to reach for? So this is an outline of the core compulsory modules of the Level 2. You have L2M1, which will introduce the procurement and supply to those perhaps who have not had any formal education, or perhaps are new to the field, or their organization is looking to upskill people who are presently doing the role. You also have the L2, M2, which we recently concluded, which is Procurement and Supply Operations. L2, M3 speaks about stakeholder relationships. It's very important that you service your stakeholders, you know who they are, both internally and externally. And of course, systems technology, which is L2, M4. So in the age of Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, robotics, everyone is looking to streamline their processes and make it more efficient and cost effective. And the last module, L2, M5, is inventory, logistics, and expediting. That's about movement and storing. A very exciting course. Now, the total credits to satisfy the SIPS Level 2 certificate in procurement and supply is 18 credits. Now, how the course is delivered and assessed, it's very important for everyone to know what is expected. The course is delivered virtually over 8 weeks. You will have weekly presentations by the facilitator, myself. You will have case study reviews. You'll have group work and homework, which is very important that you keep your skill set honed. You'll have quizzes for each learning outcome. Sometimes there are 3 learning outcomes, sometimes there are 4 learning outcomes. And then you will need to have the mock exam under SIPS exams condition, which is usually placed the week before the official SIPS exam, so that you will be very aware of what is required and your memory will be very clear. In addition, what we do after that mock exam, it will be marked immediately after, and explanations will be given to the students, and they'll have an opportunity to also ask questions and clarification. So we try to simulate exam conditions as clear as possible, remove the material that is around the student, and basically we've had success with that, because as I tested the students, each time we did the quiz, their scores improved. So they were very ready, and feedback from the students themselves is that, you know, the mock exam really helped them to focus properly and to manage their time in the exam. Now, additional reviews could sometimes be requested by the students. You know, sometimes people miss because they have to work. So as a facilitator, I'm willing to be available for additional sessions. Now, of course, what is also good is that you can reach me outside of the classroom hours, because I set up module WhatsApp groups for the students to, you know, if they're having challenges with the homework or they need a little tip here and there, I am available to answer their questions. So as you see, we're very supportive of our students, going back to what Mandy mentioned. Now, Mandy also mentioned that, you know, there's a lot of resources on the SIP site once you become a student member. So I just thought I would just show you what the learning resources are for the SIPS Level 2. So this is a sample. You have study guides, which you can purchase for £10 British online. You will have access and a unique login code and password. So you see that I have put up here L2M1 and L2M2 study guides. And then, of course, the requisite text for the L2 is Procurement and Supply Chain Management by License and Farrington. Now, this brings me to the end of my presentation. If you have any questions, you can put it down into the chat, or you can perhaps follow the email that would have been, as you say, shared for you to post any questions. And thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, Ms. Yvette, for that presentation. And I'm sure that those who have done the courses, they can relate to this well. And those who may be interested in joining the program, you'll have an idea of what I expect in the session. So that was level 2. And of course, you know, we can sit as a school and we can say anything, right? We are here trying to get you into the program, but of course, you know, testimony it always helps to bring the point home, so that we have one of our students who would have completed 2 of the modules at the level 2. And his name is Rafael Bhagat, and he has graciously agreed to share some of the experiences and to tell you about his experience as a student and how this program, the SIPS program so far, has impacted upon him as a professional in that field. So Rafael, I pass over to you.
All right, pleasant good day, everyone. My name is Rafael Bhagat. I'm a transportation entrepreneur, and I've had the opportunity to be a part of SIPS training. Now, I have. Let me back it up a little bit. So the first student webinar was part of that webinar. Like many persons who are here who are now considering the program, that was my first introduction to SIPS and what it was all about. And in that in that webinar, I was introduced to SIPS. Ms. Wong did a fantastic job of giving that overview. And for me, I felt like, all right, Guyana particularly is moving in a direction where this seems to be something that will be meaningful. And I am grateful that Stabrook Consulting has decided to offer that here. And when I was considering where to do this or which organization to do this, I made a decision to be a part of Stabrook because the way that it was outlined to me as we're currently experiencing through this webinar, it seems like if Stabrook would be a good fit in terms of the sport, in terms of they're in partnership with a group that is very, very, what should I say, forward thinking when it comes to personal development within Guyana. That is the Action Organization. And I decided that I'm going to try out Stabrook. And I did. And let me say, from perspective of being a student, there is awesome support. I had two courses that I was part of, the M1, the module 1 of level 2 and module 2 of level 2. Beginning to end, the process of going through the module, the process of interacting with the facilitators. Ms. Hoyt was one of my facilitators. I'm glad to see her here today. Hi, Ms. Hoyt. I really enjoyed her classes. She was very, very open and very, very helpful. You got to do your work, so I'm going to tell you, Ms. Hoyt, she really does her best to try to ensure that you understand, and that's one of the things I enjoyed about the lecture style of the lecturers at Stabrook. And throughout the entire process, it was made quite easy because you have a lot of behind the scenes supports. There's a SharePoint, there's where you get shared documents, there's WhatsApp groups, there's lots and lots of support for you as a student when using Stabrook's platform to study your SIPs. And then when we come to exam preparation, I think no stone was left unturned to ensure that you were ready or we were ready. And I felt very much prepared when I got to the date of doing the exams. Like Ms. Hoyt mentioned, we had that mock exam, which was very, very helpful because it simulated the conditions that we experienced when doing the final exam, which was a very good thing to have ahead of time. Are you guys hearing me? I think my internet dropped out for a second.
Are we hearing you now?
All right, great. So, yeah, I was saying the exams were quite simple because we had proper preparation. At least when I got into doing both exams, I did them one after the other. I was completely ready because the preparation was very good. I mean, you have asynchronous learning. So as a student, you have to do your part as well. You cannot fully depend on the lecturers to do all of the work for you. I think they do a fantastic job of getting you ready, but ultimately you as a student. But I can say this, because of the resources when you become a member of SIPS, there is so much information. When you go onto the platform, like Ms. Wong mentioned, you have the knowledge part of SIPS platform or SIPS Online. You have the My SIPS. You have, I did the e-learning, as well as there's the, you get your study guides through the platform as well. There is lots of information. And if you apply yourself, I think it's a breeze. And the wonderful part about it is you can wake up at 2 a.m. in the morning like I do, and you can get yourself ready. You can do your studying at your time, and you can be internationally qualified on your schedule. And I think that's an amazing opportunity that SIPS is offering, and where Guyana is going is definitely necessary for this marketplace at this time. So, I encourage those persons considering it. It's a good jump. I mean, at this point in time in Guyana's transition into being an oil producer, a world-class oil producer, for certain SIPS qualifications, I know we haven't heard a lot about it before now, but we're going to a different place as a nation. And I would encourage everyone that is on the call that is considering procurement and supply is going to be huge. So I would encourage everyone to be, to take this opportunity seriously consider being a part of this training. I believe I've enjoyed my experience so far with Stabrook. I give them my thumbs up and 5 stars. I can say this, it's early in their delivery of this course too, and I'm glad to be a part of the very first set of people to go through this. But I encourage those who are thinking about if you need that push, I'm pushing you over the edge. We're definitely going to need more and more procurement professionals in Guyana in the very, very near future, and I encourage you to jump on and be a part of it. And I encourage you to allow Stabrook to be your guide through the process. There is lots and lots of resources available at SIPS, but it's good to have a very, very good mentor in your corner, and Stabrook is a very, very good mentor for you. So that's my little contribution and testimonial. I hope that I was helpful in some way or the other, shape or form. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Rafael, for that testimony. And for those of you who have heard from both the lecturer and the student, you will understand, what the quality that we're trying to push in terms of what we're trying to achieve. And in all of the presentations, I think that the one thing from Dr. Vishnu, who is of course the head of Action Invest Caribbean, what we have heard is that the growth of Guyana and the opportunities that are there for personal growth as well as for growth of the country. And I think that is noble on the part of all of the presenters to look at the bigger picture. Yes, we are all seeking our own career development and building our own selves, but of course that has to translate in the impact. And I think that in all of the presentations, we are seeing that. So Rafael, thanks a lot. And you'd have heard about some of the student support that is offered by the school. We are student-centric, so we do everything that we have to do to ensure that the student is placed at the center and that they become the focus of all of our efforts and aspirations, of course. So we move on to our other presentation, and this is by our second facilitator, Mr. Nairan Mohammed, who is very, very experienced in the area of procurement and supply. He holds many qualifications. One includes an MBA in supply chain management, and that is just one of them. He has many qualifications, including teaching qualification. He has been doing this for a number of years. He is assigned to SIPS Level 3, and we've just passed over to Mr. Nairan. You to just share some information on that level.
Right, guys, good afternoon. It's a pleasure being here. And I want to tell you guys this as well. It's not only the students that learn. Sometimes it's the lecturer that learns as well. I had a sort of different journey through SIPS. Like I say, I have a master's in supply chain and logistics, but it's only when I got into, started to teach some of these SIPS module, I really thought that I became a professional and I understood the material in such a way that I could now be able to, speak on a level with the various sub areas that concerns purchasing and supply management, right? So it's, like I said, it's a journey for everyone. And it really made me a true supply chain and logistics professional, getting into level 3 and level 4, and even some of the other areas of SIPS. It really helped me to develop myself. And of course, I'm sure that the students feel the same way. And there are many tools that you're available. And first of all, you find a lot of things happening as well. Your speech starts to change, the terms and stuff that you've heard people speaking about. You start to use those terms because they then become part of your vocabulary as well. And that's a journey you're starting, basically, a journey into becoming a supply chain and supply management professional. And that's a a journey that's just starting for a lot of us in Guyana there. And there are a lot of opportunities. I mean, it's a shame. And in Trinidad, for example, we had that similar type of journey many years ago. And what we found as part of that journey is a lot of expatriates came into Trinidad and they got the really good jobs in supply chain and logistics because the locals were qualified. And this is an opportunity here to get Guyana nationals qualified and be in a position and be prepared for some of those high-paying jobs. Now, you can't start off at the very top. It starts at a lower level. And I myself, I mean, when I finished school, I started off with O levels and I had to work. There was simply no opportunity to go to school and stuff. And every course that I've done has been a part-time course. So it's not a strange journey. It's something that, we have to get accustomed to working and studying and having a family life. That's how it goes, right? So at the level 3 SIPS level, it caters for that working professional who has now started to work, who has maybe a 1-year experience or even less, and he wants to start his journey into supply chain and professional management, right? And it's one of these things that, either you finish your level 2, or if you have some small experience, you can start and enter into level 3, right? And the thing about level 3, it helps you to understand supply and demand management through manual or IT-based systems. It helps you to do things like working in a warehouse, carry out stock valuation, ordering, arrange supply and logistics paperwork, the basic documentation, looking at contracts and stuff, query performance, get into areas of financial management, contract review, all of those exciting areas that are now going to be part of the supply chain landscape, right? And of course, simple jobs. If you're a stores clerk, you're a buyer, stores attendant, a contract analyst, administrator, assistant buyer, all of those jobs are jobs that you can work towards, and there's going to be such a huge demand for those jobs. Now, level 3 is, it has basically 5 modules that you have to do. The modules include procurement and supply environment, which is just a broad overview of the external environment, ethical procurement and supply. And of course, SIPS is very rigorous about ensuring that whoever undergoes their program, they're ethically prepared to do procurement, and you have the right state of mind of understanding the regulatory framework that surrounds procurement and supply management. Contract administration, being introduced to a foundational level of contract administration. Team dynamics and change, which would be the 4th 6-credit module. And of course, at this level, this is the first of the levels that you sort of get to choose optional model, right? So you could either do module 5, which is socially responsible procurement, or levels module 6, which is socially responsible warehousing and distribution, right? And guys, it's a journey that you can probably do in a year to let's say 14 months. And within that time, you will be fully accredited. You'll get hands-on learning, hands-on experience. We work really hard to make sure that our students are comfortable. And of course, Yvette and I, we are a good team. We work together, and she would have already shown you guys what kind of support you get from the lecturers, right? And you're going to get that support from me as well. We put a lot of hard work into ensuring that, you make sure, you get homework, make sure that you're working all the time. And of course, we understand the challenges as working professional and the types of issues you have. We've had them ourselves, right? And it's about best being able to balance your work life, your family life, and of course, your school activities as well, right? So that's basically in a nutshell. I know that you guys want to become professional, more marketable. Someone usually, my wife reminds me, she said it's not always that you have to be employed, It's always that you should be employable. And of course, SIPS is a qualification that ensures that you're always employed, not only in Guyana. If you're thinking about migrating, for example, it's universally recognized in other parts of the world as well. So you could move with your qualifications. You could move and be employed on other parts of the world, in North America, in Canada, in UK, if that's your desire. So all those things are in your favor when you undertake such a qualification, right? And wonderfully as well, we at Starbrook have managed to keep down our our rates as well as best as we can, trying to make it as affordable as we can, because we do understand the challenges of the working individual and how he has to, budget his expenditure and stuff, right? So I would encourage you guys to register for the program, or even at least get some more information, and let us know if you're interested, and we could help and advise you what level would be the best starting point for you. So I would encourage you guys to at least seek the information, let us guide you and help you, and of course, start your journey in becoming a supply chain and procurement management professional. So thank you for your time, guys.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nairan. And you heard a little bit about the level 3, and just one thing that you said is very important. In Guyana, when we launched this program, then we started to look for facilitators, and we were unable to find facilitators. So our goal really is that the graduates from this program, with your certification and your level of experience, that eventually you become the one who will be lecturing these programs. Ideally, you will understand your country better than anyone else. And while you would have guest lecturers and all of those things throughout the course of the program, ideally, our lecturers would come from Guyana. So that is one of the long-term plans of this program and of the study center. At this time, we had Dr. Vishnu, who would have represented Action Invest Caribbean, who is we are affiliated with this organization, and we work together with them, and he would have explained certain aspects of the country and the value of procurement and supply chain management to Guyana. And we also have now one of the directors from Starbrook Consulting Incorporated, Mr. Larry Sukraj, who will just share some information with you. And then we'll just have a few minutes after that. We'll have to go to the open floor, and then of course we'll conclude. So, Mr. Larry.
Hi, good evening, everyone. And I'd like to thank everyone, firstly, for taking the time out to attend this webinar. And I'd also like to say a special welcome to the lecturers, and also to Rafael for that. Thank you for that high scorecard you gave us, for because we do try, and our lecturers do try their best to develop and to put forward the best that we can do. And in fact, we are very strong in quality management. So this is very important to us to hear this type of feedback. And it's important that the students, that we are student-centered. Okay, and to build on what Mandy had said in her opening remarks, in terms of having students, having individuals fulfill their potential, it's very important. And Starbrook Consulting actually is very, we intend to help students not only achieve, qualifications, but actually to achieve their true potential and have a rewarding career. Okay, for the companies, for government agencies, etc., in terms of having qualified and competent supply chain professionals to manage the organizations. Because what would be seen is that many companies invest a significant amount of money on inventory and purchasing. And this would rebound into having professionals manage these types of responsibilities very effectively to ensure that the company's goals are met. And SIPS, along with Starbrook Consulting and Action Invest, we intend to assist in both developing these industries and organizations to assist in having more robust, more profitable companies. Okay, so from Starbrook Consulting, we, as I said earlier, we ensure very high standards and high quality standards, okay, with the students at our center. Okay, our competitive pricing, as Nairan had indicated, makes it affordable for students along with payment plans when requested, so that we want students to get through the exams. We don't want students to basically think that, you know, it's beyond their reach. Okay, so we are willing to work with students to ensure that they're successful. And that is supported by excellent student support services. So if anyone needs to have a one-on-one with a lecturer or even a director or even customer relations officer, they can have a one-on-one with them, right? Where we will sit and advise and talk and coach, so that this way, as I said, we don't only speak of students being the center of the organization, but we actually practice that. Okay, and our qualified lecturers, and they're not only academic, but they also have a significant amount of industry experience. So the graduates coming out with SIPS qualifications not only benefit from the academic, but actually from true real life experiences. And this way they can transfer it in terms of critical thinking, in terms of their management, their emotional intelligence, and dealing with issues. Our lecturers are well versed in terms of assisting them. Okay, we listen to you, we hear you, and of course, too, we always try to set up meetings with the students so that we can get feedback. And this feedback is important in terms of building the quality standards that Stabrock Consulting, in partner with Action Invest, we tend to strive for and ensure that we deliver the quality. Okay, so I know the time is against us. As we have a few minutes, we'd love to take some questions. And to let you know that you can visit our website or call the office. The information is there on your invitations. So you could actually approach us, and we'll be happy to hear from you. We'll be happy to walk you through the process should you need to, in terms of registration, in terms of payments, etc. And we welcome you, and we look forward to seeing you in our intake in April, which is only a few weeks away. So we're very excited. So I will pass you back to the moderator, Jaidat, and so he can take some questions if anyone has any. Okay, and thanks again, everyone, for attending. We really appreciate you taking your time today.
Okay, thank you very much, Larry. Yes. So that was one of our director of business development. So this time we have a few minutes remaining. So if there are any questions that you'd like to ask of any members here, whether it be our guests, you know, from America, Ms. Mandy, any of the directors, of our student rep, of the faculty, then we'll just leave that open for a few minutes. So you're free to unmute your mic and ask any questions if there are any. All right. If there are no questions, well, we know that it's a lot of information for you to take in, right? So, of course, there are many mediums by which you can reach out to us. As Larry would have indicated, in the invitation that was sent to you, you would find our contact, our website, our WhatsApp number. So then our email, of course, to our CSR. So any way that you'd like to reach out to us, if you need to get more information, if you're interested in the program, reach out to us. And of course, any questions you may have, we will of course provide that information for you. What was presented here is just the basics. There are many other things that we are working on in terms of student services and student development, workshops, to be able to cope with what we see as changes in the world post-COVID. These are things that are value added, that the school believes has to be part of the competencies of students, and all of those things in the work. So what we have presented here is just a small part, just a pique of interest, and of course there's many more information that we'll share with you, once we start that engagement. So at this time, I just want to close up by expressing appreciation to everyone here for joining this webinar. And I want to say special thanks firstly to, and I think this is on behalf of ACI and SCI, to Ms. Mandy Wong, for once again joining us and sharing information with us, and to Rafael for giving us student testimony. And on behalf of Stabrock Consulting, to thank Dr. Vishnu and Ms. Divya of Action Invest Caribbean, for being here. I know that you all have another webinars at 1 o'clock, but to give us your time and to share some information and of course to share insight in the Guyana, so that we say thank you and we have a good day and everyone be safe, and of course we'll be in touch. So thank you and goodbye.